Hi, I'm MJ from Linus Publications, and in this session, we're just going to do a roundup of the week. So, in effect, the 10th house briefing. Some of the things we covered this week is the Minnesota school shooting. Now, I covered that just to give people an idea that usually if you dig into a chart of something like a suspected shooter, a terrorist, you're usually going to find out at least some information about what may have triggered it. You may not know the exact cause, but in his case was definitely very unique because he had oppositions, which I had noted, and that seemed to be triggering in all the charts, or at least two of them. Now let's move on. Now, in that case, who's got the power on that one? Well, no one is really moving to stop guns from, or doing any checking, because this person obviously should not have had a gun. But since we don't know much about it, and no one's releasing much information, we don't know if having, some type of, background check would have picked up his issues. We don't know that. So at this point, where's the power? It's still where it was. In effect, it's in the hands of the shooter. It's unfortunate. Now, the next one is Katrina. Now, I did Katrina specifically so people could get a little bit better understanding of where astrology fits in when you think of things like psychics or card readers. Astrology requires a lot of charts, usually. You can sometimes just do one chart, the transit, to get an idea of what's going on, but it can take quite a few charts. In the case of Katrina, I actually did about 9 charts, and each one provides a different sort of layer of information, but they're all very pertinent. Again, the intent there was to show that sometimes it's not easy to get down to the information, but you can. You can actually dig down just as long as you know what to do a chart on. You can usually find out what is the base of what's happening. It's different with psychics. It's different with card readers. Okay, different philosophies. One thing about astrology is that usually each astrologer would be able to look at the same chart and sort of get the same type of interpretation. They're not usually that far off. Now, voting rights. Next one. Who's got the power on Kalina? It's the weather. As we've seen there and as we're seeing now, power is the weather, and in effect, it's climate change. If you've been seeing any of the charts that have been going around, we're literally going to have the heat zone moving up in the United States. So in effect, where there used to be, or still is, places where they're growing food, that's going to be moving up, possibly even as high up into Canada. Same thing with the coasts. Coasts, are going to be creeping in because of the water rising higher. So in effect, who's got the power? The weather does. And what's going to be driving the weather? Climate change. Now let's take a look at the voting rights. As I noted, that one was a little difficult because we don't know. We know the arguments are going to be done on October 15th. And all the charts were showing that. And the charts we were using were the United States chart. We're using the voting rights chart, and also the chart when the Supreme Court was originated. All of them are pointing that, yep, something's going on October 15th, but it's not showing a conclusion. It's just showing things are going on. What's the conclusion? It'll be sometime in either May or in June. It'll be the third Monday that they release information, or the third Monday. So third Monday in May, third Monday in June, but it can be also anytime after that up until like July 9th. So looking at those dates, it's not positive. It's definitely more of the charts is showing more difficult angles going to in effect, Jupiter, which would be the people of the United States, or to Venus, which would be, in effect, the sixth house of workers. So it's not showing anything that's really positive. And sixth house could also be, Venus is also communities of people. So in this case, communities would be why the Voting Rights Act was put into place. So it's not looking positive. Now, there are different things to that Voting Rights Act, and I'm not aware of every single nuance to it. So it could be they take away parts of it, but not the whole thing. So it's something to watch. Now, next one we have is Iowa. Political shift. A Democrat won by a pretty decent margin. And in this case, who's got the power? It's shifting towards the Democrats. So, and again, this is a state that went pretty heavily for Trump. But remember, it also went for Obama. But it seems like it's shifting, it's changing. We went through the three charts, and there are changes going on in that state. So it could shift even further left. Now, next one we have is Pam Bondi. Pam Bondi. Okay, Attorney General. Supposed to be in effect, the person watching out for justice in the United States. And I called this one sort of murky water, and that's what it is. She's being handled by Trump. So she's not looking out for the people of the United States, and the laws of the United States. She's looking out for Trump. So this is not a good place to be when it comes to justice. And I don't see anything changing that for a while. So in this case, the power is with her. And by the way, on the Voting Rights Act, the power is going to be with the conservative judges on the Supreme Court, unfortunately. Now, the next one we have is Kristi Noem. Kristi Noem is the Department of Homeland Security. Definitely, as noted when I did the session on her, she's coming into a lot of power, and she's using it. She is building a structure and likely corruption there. So who's got the power? She's got the power. Now, and one thing I need to also mention is that the last few days, everyone's been saying, is Trump dead? I have noted that, yes, he has health issues, and that's in the video, Trump, the fall of 2025. Other people have also noted that. One thing to watch is that he is fraying. He is not looking as good as he normally does. With the orange, it's hard to tell. There was one day he was really very orangey. And a lot of people are picking up on that. He's got issues coming up into September, and as I noted, September to the mid-November period is a important period for him. And it doesn't say, I think he's going to die or whatever, but I think he's going to have some incident or something. And I think maybe Vance would have to take over, not permanently, okay, because I didn't see that happening before. So it might be just for some time, could be for a long time. We'll need to see. But he's not very well. He does have issues. You might want to relook at that video, and that's Trump, the fall of 2025. Now, that's it for tonight, and I hope you had a great week, and hope you have great plans for this next week coming up. Thank you for watching. Good night.